Welcome to Verse of the Day. My name is Brandon Hathaway. I'm the preacher here at the Westside Church of Christ in Owensboro, Kentucky. I want to thank you for joining me today as we enter into the book of Romans. We're starting the book of Romans today. So we're in Romans chapter 1, going to look at verses 26 and 27. Romans 1 and in verses 26 and 27, it reads here, it says, "For this reason God gave them over to degrading passions, for their women exchanged the natural function for that which is unnatural. And in the same way, also, men abandoned the natural function of the women and burned in their desires toward one another, men with men committing indecent acts and receiving in their own persons the due penalty of their error." Now, I know I'm sure I've talked about this verse within my verses of the day in the past when we went through the book of Romans, but I decided to go ahead and bring it out again. The world, to me, I think the biggest thing that the world tries to use when trying to say, well, the Bible actually can't say anything against homosexuality, because their claim is that the word homosexuality, gay, or transgenderness, or whatever it may be, they say that there wasn't a Greek word in that time to explain it. So how could they talk about it? How could they talk against it? They try to say that there wasn't a word back then that meant the same thing as what we use today. Again, we can go to 1 Corinthians 6, 9 through 10 and see that it's listed in there, and other verses, and go back to, but this verse and like verses in Leviticus don't have to use the word homosexuality, because it's literally explaining the acts of homosexuality, right? It says women leaving men in exchange for what is unnatural. And then it goes into verse 27, men with men, right? Leaving what is, again, natural function with women, men with men, committing what is indecent acts, receiving in their own persons the due penalty of their error. And so it goes forth and explains what the sin is, right? It don't have to use the word homosexuality. It don't have to say those who are gay or lesbians, because it's explaining in the verse itself, women with women, men with men, leaving how God designed us to be men and women as he created Adam and Eve. And so that argument doesn't stand. We need to make sure we put God first at all things, always looking to him to guide us in the right direction. So just what came to mind as reading through this chapter today, and as we enter into the book of Romans again, how the world tries to change God to what they want him to be and want him to accept, rather than how it's supposed to be, where we change ourselves so that we can be like God. We don't change God, but we are to change. We are to be transformed into his image. Anyways, I want to thank you for joining me. It is Sunday. If you're in the Owensboro area, we invite you to come join us. Our Bible class starts at 9:30, our worship at 10:30, and the evening service at 5 p.m. also. Well, thank